Before we get into this video, guys, the E36 Super Coupe hoodies are now available online for pre-sale. Jump on, pre-sale ends this coming Friday. Grab yours, I'll send them anywhere in the world. Support the channel, and yeah, cheers. Let's get into the video. Woo!
4 weeks ago, our beloved Budget Evo was stolen, and while the thieves were on their joyride, somehow they managed to explode our 4G93 turbo motor in a rather impressive fashion. That's when I made the split-second, completely ill-informed decision to rear-wheel drive swap the Lancer using a Nissan CA18 DET motor. Without doing any research whatsoever, we made the purchase, and now we've got a huge challenge in front of us to mount this rear-wheel drive motor in this front-wheel drive engine bay.
First up though, we have to remove the engine from the engine bay and remove all of the stock Lancer subframe, suspension and steering rack, because as you can see, that is all in our way. This is the first time I've ever done a job this big. I've done anything like this. I'm not a fabricator by any means, so this is going to be a very interesting experience. Let's get this thing hooked up onto the engine crane and get it out of the car. Engine's out, car's in the air, time to rip this front subframe stuff out. No more front wheel drive, and we're gonna start building these frickin' frame rails. Let's go! So our subframe, suspension, everything is gone from the car. Look at that, so much room for activities.
So many aerobics in here, so many activities.
Now, the hard part really begins. And this is where I start to get a little bit outside my comfort zone, and it gets a little bit outside my skill level, so we're all gonna be learning together. We've gotta start measuring, we've gotta start getting things level. So, first thing we're gonna do, luckily Woz bought in a laser level thing, I don't even know what it's called, which is right here, and this is gonna be super important to us getting all of our rails straight in the right position and everything like that. So, we need to get the car on a level plane. So what we're gonna do, we'll place a level on this sill right here, and then we're gonna jack up the back of the car until the car is perfectly level. Then we're gonna get our laser pointer, we're gonna do some measurements, and we're gonna find the center line for our wheel arches, for starters, and the center line for our engine bay. So these are also gonna help us out heaps. So these are stands that you can wind up and down, which is gonna be really helpful to us. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna tack this subframe onto the stands so that that's nice and sturdy, can't fall off. We're gonna set that up in our engine bay once the car's level, and then we can wind that up and down. We're gonna put the engine back into the car. This is gonna go in and out many times, and we're gonna set it up perfectly in the exact spot that we want it, at the exact height that we want it, and then we can start to get an idea for where our frame rails are gonna sit. It's just a lot of measuring once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and making sure that you are absolutely nailing this stuff, because once these rails are welded in, you know, you don't want the engine being on the piss, because that is really going to affect the way that it drives, the harmonics between the front of the motor and the diff and the drive shaft, of course, as well. So this is the part that really matters.
This is a super important part of the process, getting the car level, as this sets the base for the rest of our measurements. Once the car's level, we measure between the strut towers to find the perfect center line of our car.
So the next important step, we have our cast iron brackets, right? These are from the S13, and these obviously need to go in the front of our car. And they're a very important part, so I went and picked them up this morning because we still don't have the S13 front for our car. If you've got one, jump into my DMs, because I need to still buy the pretty much whole front end. It's kind of hard to show on camera by myself, because I'm the only one here, so I can't get someone else to film, but this sits on the front, and then this part sits on like the rail that also holds our subframe. So that distance between this plane and this plane is very important. So we're gonna clamp this to our table. We're gonna take a measurement at that distance, because that's the distance difference between this flat rail that goes here, that this mounts to, obviously, and then the rail up above that the subframe mounts to. So definitely an important measurement. So we'll go ahead and measure that now. Then we're gonna go ahead and chuck this bad boy in the engine bay, tack it on, and then put our engine onto it and kind of see. Hopefully that'll tell us, you know, we'll shuffle it around the engine bay, hopefully that'll tell us where we need to put our rails and stuff. Fun fact, I don't have any S13 engine mounts. which is an issue. But luckily, I'm in a group of awesome people who all build cars. I jumped in, a couple of them have S13s. I said, how long are S13 engine mounts? 70 millimeters. So we're going to use wood, a block of wood. We'll just cut it to 70 millimeters, drill a hole through it, put a bolt through it, and that's going to be our mock-up engine mounts for now so that we can bolt the engine to the subframe. And I've already ordered GK Tech engine mounts for this build, so shout out GK Tech. They're not sponsoring or anything, but they do awesome stuff here in Melbourne. Their stuff always comes super quick as well, which is cool. So they'll turn up this week, but for now, blocks of wood are gonna have to do. But yeah, let's keep going.
So I measured and triple checked the caster arm bracket, as this measurement is crucial to the success of the swap. I actually ended up making a mistake with this that you'll see later in the video. I then got stuck into my ingenious subframe jig and set up the laser light. I marked center on the lower radiator support and lined the laser up with the center line that we marked on our firewall earlier. This will allow us to perfectly center our subframe and engine. Then I threw the engine back in the hole and spent the next hour getting it in the perfect position to start making our custom frame rails.
And after so much measuring, more measuring than I've ever done in my entire life for anything, the engine is sitting hopefully where it will live forever moving forward. There's so many things to think about. Even now, like, you've just got to make sure that, like, the height of the subframe, for example, versus the height of the frame rails, the position of where the LCA is going to come out versus the position of the top hat. But that is where it has to live, because obviously the engine can't really go backwards anymore. We're definitely going to be making a custom tunnel, but we already knew that. And yeah, everything's level. Honestly, measured a million times. And I'm really happy with where it's all sitting. It's sitting low enough as to where we'll definitely be able to shut our bonnet, and it's just nice and low in general, which is cool. Plenty of room up front, obviously, for our radiator and stuff, which is really nice. Our turbo manifold goes here, you know, so it's looking like it's going to be a really cool setup. So the next job we've got to do is cut this out, because we're doing a custom front cross member, and that's what our caster arm brackets will bolt to. So yeah, let's go ahead, do some chopping. I've already marked it all up as to where we need to cut, and see where we land. Look at that, there's not much left of the Lancer in terms of the front of the car anymore, but the car is now officially ready to put our new frame rails in. That is freaking exciting. Unfortunately, I've run out of time tonight, but not really unfortunately, because I'm about to go take Tara out for dinner. She got a huge promotion. She just bought a brand new BMW as well. So we're just gonna go celebrate, because you've always got to celebrate your wins. Super important. But we're gonna come straight back here in the morning. We're gonna get straight back into work on this thing, and we're gonna literally start making our frame rails. And I'm hoping kind of by maybe lunchtime tomorrow that this is sitting in the engine bay on its new frame rails, because if that's the case, it means I can race home, edit the video for you guys, and have it up on Sunday night. So if you're seeing this on Sunday, I was successful. If you are seeing this any later than Sunday, well, it took a little longer than we thought. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the morning. Bye. Welcome back to day 2. Got my 7-Eleven $2 coffee. Running on a budget at the moment. Tastes like shit. Day 2, let's go. We are ready to make our custom frame rails. We've got some plates that we're going to weld onto the bottom of this structure right here. I don't want to weld the new rail directly to it, because it's better to weld plates on so it spreads the load. It makes it way stronger pretty much. So we've got these plates. Hopefully I've cut them properly. So they'll go on the bottom just like that. We're going to weld these on, and we're going to go ahead, cut our first bar, and that can pretty much weld straight on, so let's go.
So I prepped the surfaces ready for welding and tacked the plates on. Once I triple checked the surface was level in all directions, I did the final welds. Next, it was time to measure and cut our new lower radiator support bar. Once again, we triple checked that it was level before tacking it on. It was then that I realized I'd made a big mistake.
As we go through this process and do stuff like this for the first time, obviously you're gonna make mistakes, and I have made quite a monumental one, which is heartbreaking, but we've caught it at a pretty good time. So I set some steel in where our rail is going to go, and I decided to test fit our caster bracket, right? But here's the problem. I've done this rail and this rail backwards. So this, as you can see, sits on the front like so, and it's supposed to go upwards, but I've done it to where the front rail sits above 70 mil, above our rail, and not below it, which is not good. Luckily, I only tacked the front bar in, it's not fully welded in. So what we'll do, take that front bar out, and we're gonna have to make some metal spacer that goes in here that's going to bring this down below these bars. So really lucky that we caught it early. Just so happened that I wanted to just test fit that because I was inquisitive, and yeah, it was wrong. Let's fix what we just fucked up. Good fun. Yes, our problem is fixed. I got it right this time. I've even double checked. So we are back on track. And then I've gone ahead and marked the exact width of our subframe because we're gonna go ahead and start making our rails. So this is all centered, it's all level. And so I know that if I make the rails perfectly straight pointing backwards at this width, that's 768 millimeters, boom, right to the back, then I know that our subframe is going to bolt to that. Let's go ahead and start the process of making our new frame rail.
For the last time in this video, we have to pull the engine out of the car to make way for our new frame rails. Once again, we're using our threaded axle stands and spirit levels to ensure our rails are in the perfect position. We'll need to mark and notch the rails out at the back to match the unique design of the current rails on the car and ensure we have a tight fit for welding. Once that's done, we can cut our new rails down to size.
So after hours and hours of grinding, measuring, cutting, tacking, measuring, grinding, cutting, tacking, we finally have our frame rails sitting in place on our structure, which is pretty darn cool. Looks so good. Holy crap. This is way beyond my skill level, so I've had to execute a lot of patience, and there've been a couple of swear words thrown about here and there just to get this to where it is currently. So it's meant to have something so simple, just a box can take literally 2 whole days to build. Pretty crazy, but I'm gonna sit you guys on the tripod, and there was no time like the present. Let's get tacking.
I took the time to make one last nervous measurement before making the first tacks on our new frame rails. This is easily the biggest automotive challenge I've ever taken on, and I really enjoyed this fabrication process. Once I finished the welding, I made the final measurements for the subframe and drilled the holes. Then it was finally time to bolt the S13 subframe to our new rails on our Mitsubishi Lancer. Then we put the CA18 DET motor into the Lancer engine bay, sitting on its brand new frame rails under its own weight for the very first time.
Here she is. One of the biggest jobs I've ever done on a car. And she's all mounted. How frickin' good is that? That's insane. Now, one of the things that we mucked up and we have to check, obviously, is making sure that these caster brackets fit properly in the car. Boom. That is freaking awesome. I actually cannot wait to have all the S13 suspension in this car. Like, it's gonna be freaking crazy. But that's right, which means all of the hard work has paid off. But this is just insane. Even just seeing this in the engine bay like properly there is freaking bonkers to me. Obviously we're still a long way from finished. We need to cut a tunnel, we need to pull the engine out again, engine needs a full refresh. So many things to do, and obviously we need to put the rear diff in. I've already got the rear subframe. Here it is, the MX-5 subframe, so you guys can look forward to seeing that going in the car as well. I'm sure that job will be just as hard as this one. So we have a lot to look forward to, but that is the episode done for today. I am knackered. I have to go home and edit this video for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed this process. It's a really rewarding process, and I'm stoked that I've undertaken this journey because this car is going to be crazy when it's done. Do not forget, guys, the E36 Super Coupe hoodies are out now for pre-order. Jump online, grab one, I'll send them anywhere in the world to you. Running the YouTube channel is super expensive, so any help from you guys always helps a lot. So yeah, jump on that pre-sale. It ends this Friday, and then I'll be getting the hoodies printed and sent out to all you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one where we continue smashing out work on the Fevo. Cheers guys. Peace. Bye.